afternoon, y'all. Welcome to today's video. Today we have a pretty spicy, pretty controversial topic, and I don't want to sound insensitive at all, but I saw this article, I think I saw it the day it came out, back on the 27th, I believe, or the 28th, and it's about this man in Madison County, I think Michigan. There was this shooting, he did this preceding a shooting that there was with a 15-year-old girl, and she had this whole manifesto, and she, like, her parents hated her, and they said a lot of other kids hated her. But so preceding the shooting, he had decided to do like an outreach program, and instead of it being like a mental health outreach program or, you know, something that would actually help, he asked people if they want him to get their firearms and destroy them, because it's the guns. But sorry, I'll get to the points when we're watching the video, but it's pretty absurd and really accomplished nothing. But once again, I'll get to the points as I'm watching the video. I've seen it a few times, but I'm gonna watch it again and then create videos to edit in so it's fresh.
Saying actions speak louder than words. Well, a Madison man is taking action today to destroy firearms. He says it's all part of an effort to prevent gun violence. Our Kyle Pozorski reports.
Madison's Midvale Community Lutheran Church was the site of something you don't see too often Monday. 6 handguns, 1 rifle, and a shotgun being destroyed. Jeff Wild, along with help from several others, brought a pair of chop saws to the church's entrance to take action, hoping to prevent further gun violence.
Because I see it as a symbolic step.
The action comes just a week after a student at Abundant Life Christian School brought 2 guns inside, killing a teacher and fellow student. Wild says the guns he worked to destroy Monday were surrendered to him on Friday with the intention to be disassembled and chopped up.
We need to move forward in actually taking actions to reduce gun violence in our communities.
And this is one of those actions.
This is the beginning, one step.
So he just said that these guns had been surrendered to him by people in his community to be chopped up and destroyed. And he was saying that this is one of the actions towards a brighter future with no gun violence, because law-abiding citizens taking firearms that have not or will not be used in crimes or to hurt anyone really, unless they're a bad person and they're being used in the right hands, which in this case I don't think they even would, because the people are telling them to be destroyed because they believe it's the guns. They believe that if they have a firearm in their home, it's just like this MK Ultra mind control thing that's gonna just start whispering to them in the night and convince them to commit an atrocity and ruin the lives and end the lives of multiple people. And like, I do understand it. It's a fear of guns and a lack of education, but we'll get more into that as he says more.
Believe that with the work of faith communities and with local leadership and students in schools, that we can bring about a movement that will reduce firearm violence in our community.
Wild has done similar events like this before, and while this is not his first time doing so, he says the destruction is just his way to get guns out of the hands of people looking to do harm to others or themselves. On Madison's West Side, Kyle Pozorski, News 3 Now.
So yeah, he said that he's done this before, and it's to get guns out of hands of people who are looking to harm themselves or others. And I truly don't understand, like, are these people not properly securing their firearms? Or are they just like leaving them on like the sidewalk and they're like, I can't be trusted, I have to have this gun cut up? Which is I would bet so much money that's not the case. But what it is people who are underinformed about firearms. They believe that they are this evil thing, and that firearms kill people. And they believe that if they have, because they look at the statistics that say people with firearms are more likely to kill themselves, or firearm owners are more likely to kill themselves or harm others and stuff like that. Well, it's just because firearms are just the most effective tool for the jobs that they're being used for. It doesn't mean it's a firearm's fault. It's like trying to say we need to, I don't know, we need to ban airplanes because 9/11 happened, because they could hit the towers with the airplanes, right? Like, instead of it being like, we have people doing bad things and we need to stop these bad people. No, the emphasis, which they're saying that with the mental health stuff, they're talking about the mental health stuff, but just a little bit after they talk about the guns. Because, well, mainly for the people, it's fear and misunderstanding, and they're puppeting what the media is saying. But from the media and from the politicians, it is a deliberate statement to instill fear in the hearts of people and in their communities. And maybe most of the time, they're just puppeting stuff from a puppeteer. They don't know what they're saying either. Like that, it's as heavy as 10 boxes that you may be moving. What does that even mean? If a gun's heavier, it shoots a bigger bullet? I mean, I guess you can't make that correlation, but but like, it's just things that, like, it's heavy. Or like they ban barrel shrouds because barrel shrouds make it look more dangerous, which I don't think it's a thing anymore. But it's just fear. People are afraid. And instead of being afraid of the right thing, like the politicians, they see this and they're like, we in the media as well, we can point it at guns, not mental health, because this is what it is. This is not a gun issue. If there was no guns in the world and this girl felt this way, she would have stabbed the people, you know? If there was no knives, she would have went to Home Depot and made a destructive device. Like, which could have been way worse, way worse. But people, they don't understand that, and they'll be like, well, look at Britain. They had a shooting with a pistol, and now they have no pistol crime. It's like, yeah, but now they'll throw acid at your face and burn your face off, or they'll drive by and cut your arm off with a machete to get the watch off your wrist. And like, well, at least it's not guns. It's like, no, now people don't have guns, and now people know they can drive by you on a machete and cut your arm off. And what is someone gonna do? Chase you down and stab you? No, because you're on a moped, you know? And it's fear used to install more fear, used to install, obviously, a lot of tyranny, but a big disrupting. They're trying to disrupt people coming together. Like, when we see something like this, we should come together and we should say, there is a crisis in the United States right now, and people are being undervalued by their peers and their family, and they're not receiving the emotional support they should be receiving. Like, and they're having people being hateful towards them, and they don't have friend groups. Because that is the root of the issue, right? Like, I have a wonderful girlfriend, and I have great parents and great siblings, and I don't feel like, you know, like, just because I have a gun doesn't mean that, like, I'm gonna do something bad. That's just not how it works. That's just not how it works. I would never do anything bad with my firearms because I'm a responsible, sane person. But these people are not, because they don't have support systems. And even if they do, they're just messed up in the head already because of external factors like delusions of grandeur, and like the kid who shot his parents with a shotgun that he got in the UK, which is like, he didn't even have a license for, which is crazy. He just bought one. And because Clementine from The Walking Dead, because if you don't know, it's literally a video game, and it was this little girl in a video game, and this guy was like a pedophile and stuff. And it was this little girl in the video game, and his sister had played the video game and made the wrong decisions in the video game that caused Clementine from The Walking Dead to see people die in front of her. The pixels, right? So he killed his whole family and like threatened to kill other people who did the same online, which is insane. Like, someone made the wrong choices in a video game, so you killed them. And like, is that the shotgun's fault? No, this guy was insane. Was it the gun's fault that this 15-year-old girl came and shot these people? No, she was crazy. She was out of her mind. And that's of no way to say it was okay because they weren't right in the head. Being not right in the head doesn't mean that you had no control over what you're doing. Like, you're still a person and you still are making decisions. You're just making terrible decisions that ultimately ended up with 2 people dead that should have never been dead. And until they're like 90. But it's not because of the gun. It's because of the person and the person's mental health and the lack of support around them. Not the fact that, which maybe, you know, her parents, they hated her so much they shouldn't have had open access to firearms with her. She's 15 years old. Like, I know it's like 14 that you can have a gun in your bedroom, like as a child, but I think it has to be still properly secured. Obviously her guns weren't properly secured, and like, it's just parents not giving enough protection and care. Sorry, I don't mean to smile, you know. Protection or care to their children and people around them. I think it was something, the teacher was just terrible to her, and so was that student, which is no way excuses them dying, you know. People can be mean and terrible people to someone for no reason, and they'll feel terrible about it later on. It doesn't mean they deserve to die for it, you know. But, yeah, I don't know, I'm just kind of babbling, but I feel so personally attacked when I see people get upset over the guns, where they're like, well, she used an AR-15, or they use an AR-15, and not the motive, the reasoning, and the factors that led up to that. Obviously the firearms a factor. Obviously this clearly disturbed girl should not have had access to firearms, and if she did, there's supposed to be limited access. She's a child, but her parents didn't care enough. They just didn't at all. They like hated her, from what I've heard. They just didn't like her. And obviously, you know, people would say like, oh, she didn't hate her, that's what she thought, but it really seemed like they like hated her. And that's what it is at the end of the day. Like, people not receiving, I know I've said this so many times, but this is my point, and this is such an underlying point that people in America and all around the world need to see. You know, like, this is the reason that these atrocities are happening. And, you know, this is why. Why are kids shooting up schools? Because they're bad people in a bad situation, but they're a bad person usually because of their situation. You know, if you were to take that girl and put her in my upbringing with my parents and everything, like, she's just me. It would have been a perfectly normal, well, I'm not perfect, I'm autistic as hell, but, you know, she would have not done that. And that's because she would have had people who cared. And it's also in no way being like, I feel so bad for her. Well, you have to feel a little bad. You have to feel a little bad for her, but also you can't feel bad for her actions. She did something that's absolutely unexcusable, terrible. But you have to look at the causes and recognize that those were bad things that happened to her. And because of that, she did bad things to other people that she should have never even thought of doing, honestly. And I know I don't want to sound in any way like someone who's like, well, it was their mental health, so that's why it was okay. And it was their mental health, and that's why that guns are bad, because guns make mentally ill people do bad things. No, people are mentally ill, and if they want to do bad things, they'll do bad things. So we need to get support for people. Like, and when people hear that, they're like, oh, so you think it was okay? You think it was okay what they did because they're messed up in the head? No, but what I'm trying to say is, if they were messed up in the head and they would have got the help they needed, they wouldn't have done that. Like, true, proper help, it wouldn't have ever happened. Truly. Like, it's just how it works. Like, if you're so psychotic that you think that you need to kill these people because they upset you, and like, because she was probably going to kill herself, I think, and so she wanted to take people out with her. Like, and if her parents, like, saw her manifesto, which is something they could have easily done if they actually cared, it could have been completely avoided, and there would be 3 people alive today who could have done so much great in the world. But instead, there just wasn't a support system for people, and for, in this case, her. And once again, I sound like, I don't mean to sound like I'm like some apologist for her, you know, being like, well, it's not really her fault, you know. But it is her fault. You know, she could have also really seeked out the proper care, you know, online and stuff like that, but that's also like, the parents should be doing stuff. I don't know, I'm just like talking in circles, because I'm trying not to sound like I'm some sort of apologist, because I'm not. I don't think that what she did is excusable. I don't think like, oh, what she did was bad, but I feel bad for her. No, I feel bad for her circumstance. I feel bad thinking that someone went through that, but I don't feel bad for her because she did something terrible because of it. You know? But anyways, y'all have a great night. Say whatever you think in the comments, but be civil and don't instantly be up in arms against me. Try to have a good, constructive conversation and just listen and just think. Just think about what I'm saying for a second. Like, don't be like, he likes guns, and get so upset. People do that. People do that all the time. And sometimes I find myself doing that. I hear people say they hate guns, and I get upset. But you have to stop and you have to think and you have to sympathize with people, you know. Maybe they hate guns because they're scared, you know. And maybe I love guns because guns are cool. I want to be a gunsmith one day, and obviously I really want to do this. I really want to, you know, help educate and inform people and just, I don't know, just try to be a force for good and teaching people about guns and teaching them why you shouldn't be afraid of guns. You should be afraid of bad people or sick people. Because at the end of the day, this girl was sick. And she was so sick that she took out other people with her, which is a terrible thing. And it should have never happened. But we can't say it should have never happened. Now we need to ban guns. Because then we'll be saying it should never happened. Now we need to ban knives. Now we need to ban acid. Now we need to ban bleach and, bleach and ammonia. Like, because there's all sorts of ways it could have happened, you know? So don't look at what was used. Look at the person and look why they got to this point. What happened? Do we need to have more support for people? Do we need to pay more attention to our peers, you know? Do we need to be kinder to each other? Kinder to each other. That's the biggest. People are so hateful nowadays. It's insane. I guarantee I'm going to have hateful people in my comment section who don't even get to this part of the video. Because they just don't, I don't know. I don't think they mean to. They just, I think it's a deep-seated, it's a fear. And it's a self-entitlement thing. But not like, I don't mean that in a mean way. They just, some people have set thoughts that it's really hard for the change. And they get really upset if you challenge them. It's really hard for them to have a civil discourse. And I mean, I guess I can understand it too, especially when they're young, you know, my age or younger than me. They don't know how to properly communicate with others without just like freaking out. And I guess I can understand that. But just be kind and understand what others are thinking or going through. And try to sympathize with people. And you can agree to disagree with me. Like, if you say that all guns need to be banned because this statistic said that when guns were banned, this gun crime went down, blah, 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 somewhere, I can agree to disagree. And I could be like, well, yeah, maybe if you got rid of if all guns were blinked off the world, gun crime would end, but crime wouldn't. But if all mentally ill people were magically cured and didn't ever think about doing bad things ever again, it would have the same effect. Those are both miracles that would never happen realistically. So you need to look at the root cause, not, you know, it's like, I don't know, like when you're investigating something, you look for a motive. And the motive was this person was messed up. And it's always the case in these. And maybe they're messed up because they were ostracized from their communities. You know, no one liked them and stuff like that. Or maybe they were just an evil person who someone should have been keeping an eye on them and saw that they were, like the Columbine shooters. I know a lot of them, they were messed up in the head, but also they were just like evil people. And there's like the basement tapes and stuff like this, and they're constantly doing stuff pretty blatantly, stuff like that. I don't know. It's a societal issue. We're so separated and we're so constantly arguing with each other. Blah, blah, blah. You need to ban this. You need to ban that. You hate me for some reason. So because I think you hate me, I hate you. And because you actually hate me, I actually hate you. You know, it's just breathe. Just think. Just love each other. We're all humans. We all have similar brains for the most part. Okay, this video is going on too long. I'm just rambling. But if you made it to the end, just like and subscribe and say whatever you want in the comment section. Just be civil. You know, don't call me a fascist. Oh my Lord, I can't get over people calling any gun owner or people who say they like guns or a fascist. It's like, so, and like, I'm a fascist because I express my views. It's like, that sounds pretty fascist if you think that I'm a bad person for expressing my views, which my views, I don't have bad views. I don't think that people should be executed or nothing like that. Well, unless we're talking about the PDF files, you know. But those aren't people. Anyway, but thank you for watching. Like, comment, tell me if you want me to make another video like this, or if I'm just completely off base and I look like an idiot with a big old double chin talking with a crappy camo backdrop and a shitty hat. You know, I have the hoodie. It's cold in here. It's like -20 outside. It's gonna snow all night. But anyways, good night, y'all.